Hi all, and welcome back to Irish Ian Excels. Today we're going to be covering some more about what Excel is and exactly what it does. Just to recap from the first video, we went over what a row and what a column is, and how to reference a cell. Now I want to explain something that's going to cause a huge amount of confusion later on if we don't clear it up now, especially when we start teaching formulas and things like that and they don't work. And what I'm going to show you is that Excel treats numbers and text very differently, even though they look the same on screen. So let me show you what I mean by this. So in cell A1 here, I'm going to type just 10. And let me just clear. So this is a good example actually of why it's not working. So I'll type 10 and it's going in, you'll see there as 10%. So up here, this drop down box is actually where you pick and you tell Excel what you're putting in. So you can say, I'm going to put in general, which is generally text or no specific format. You can tell it that it's going to be numbers, currency, accounting, short or long dated. It can be times, percentages, fractions, etc. And there's text as well at the bottom. So if I tell it in this case that I just want general, and now I'll say 10, you'll see this has gone to the right of the cell there. And then if we come down here and we type 10 again on this, you'll see that the text has automatically aligned to the left. Now, of course, you could come up here and you could highlight them and you could align them to the center, you can align them left or right as you see fit. But if you leave the formatting alone from the very start, when you put a number in on Excel, it's going to put the number to the right and it's going to put text to the left if this is on general. That's the key part as well. That once that drop down is set to general. So they look similar. If you were to read these, you would say that's 10 and that's 10, of course. But to Excel, they're two completely different things. And this is one of the biggest reasons formulas actually break is that the um, the actual format that you've put in the cell is not set correctly. You do have a more numbers option as well, or more formats, and you can go through all of these, including a custom one. And there's about another 30 to 50 in there. You can break it down to days, minutes, hours, minutes and seconds, etc. Some of it is more complex, some of it is very basic, like day, month, year, if you wanted to. So if I put this to day, month, year, for example, now when I type in 10 dot 11 dot 2022, or sorry, if I do it with, let's do it with forward slash, it knows that that's a date now in Excel, so it'll pick up on that if you wanted to say that something happened on a specific day, etc. Um, and reference that later in a formula or something as well. It can be very useful. So, as I said, if you do type the number 10 in and then you type it as text, they are very, very different to Excel. So, um, the small details, I suppose, of how Excel interprets a cell is very, very important. So if I now come down here and I put equals to, and I use what we learned in the first video, and I say A1 plus A2, you'll see that this doesn't work. Even though these are both 10, it's not giving you the answer. It's not saying 20. Now, if I change this to text to a number rather than text because I have it at a date, now it's getting confused. So this is why I'm saying it's very important to know how to change this in case something is incorrect at a later stage. Because if we do not learn this now, formulas will break later. So you'll see now when I change that to its correct its correct format, everything is working now again. Whereas this looks like it's the 20th and first, because what it's doing is it's taking the 10 to the first, 1900, and it's adding 10 to it and giving you the 20th. So it's adding 10 to the date rather than giving you a general number, which is what you wanted. So, as I said, that's just one thing I wanted to show today. So another thing that catches people out is formatting. If I format as currency as well, that's another thing that's going to catch people sometimes. So that's not changing the value; it's just changing how it looks. So the formulas and things like that will work. So just I suppose to note that Excel always stores the underlying value separately from what is actually displayed. So when something looks wrong in Excel, I suppose don't panic. Just ask yourself, is this actually a number or is it text that just looks like a number? Is it formatted separately, etc. So let's look then at percentages because percentages are going to be very important as well. So if we look at the number 10 in this cell with general, and we want to change that to a percentage. Now there's two ways we can do it. We can do it from here, or there's actually a percentage shortcut right here as well, or you can use Control Shift and percentage as it shows you when you scroll over it in the toolbar. So let's just use this quick way. And even though I had the number 10 here, you will see that it has now come in as 1000%, which obviously is too high. Let's say you wanted to just have it as 10 being 10% in this instance, and you've typed 10, you've changed to a percentage. And now you're looking at this and you're going, why is this not working? That's because Excel looks at it as a whole number. So now that it is a percentage, now you can change it. You can put it to 1%, you can put it to 10% if you want to from here, and it will now recognize it. But if you leave it at general when you're typing it in, the actual value of 10% is zero point 0.1. So Excel is going to see this now that zero point 0.1 is in this cell. So if we were just take it out and type it in even 0 0.1 with a general format and we come up here and change this to a percentage, now it will recognize as 10%. 1 is the first whole number, of course, so Excel sees 1 as 100% in general terms, or if the formatting is left at general. Um, so if we were to change 1 to a percentage, it will give you 100%. As you'll see, if we're to try and type 10% into a cell, like for example here, and we do it with general, and then we click on percentage, you will notice it goes to 1000%. So just another thing with formatting to watch out for. Just going back then, looking at it, the other thing you can format is time. So let's say I put in 12:31:06. Let's see. There you have a time. So now this is an easy way again of adding time together. Let's say 11:11:11, and you'll notice because this was set to currency, you'll see it's given you the wrong thing. So if we move this now to time, now it moves back to your 11:11:11. And if we come down here and equals to um, A1 plus A2 as an example, you can see how useful it is that it will recognize, even though this was set to general, that these two cells that you wanted to add were time. So it's now giving you the total amount of time. So just little things like that are very, very useful when it comes to formatting. There is also a quick accounting number format as well, so you can format as dollars, euros, or other currencies from here. Just click the drop down, select your currency, and you can pop that in. Also, another thing is the comma style. So let's say I put in 1000 here and I leave it at general. What I find very useful is the commas. Just to say it's 1000 spot 00 or point 00. Um, and then you can increase or decrease the number of decimals as well. So you can decrease by moving it this way or increase by moving it that way. And you can do that as far or as little as you'd like. Where that comes in useful is if you were saying it's 5.76294 and you just want to see this to 2 decimal points, you can just very quickly bring it in and it'll round it up for you. And the same as you click out, it'll start to round it up for you if necessary. So you'll see 7, the spot 7629 here in a minute. That will become spot 3 when I move in one more to the left. So 5.7629 will become 5.763. So it's automatically doing your rounding for you as well, which is very very handy. So that's just a quick little guide, guys, on I suppose on number formats and formatting within Excel. Just as a quick recap, this is just so that when we do get into doing formulas and more advanced stuff, that you will understand the difference between the numbers and text. And if there's one thing to take away from this video, it's this here, that if Excel recognizes something as a number, it will automatically put it to the right. If it recognizes it as text, it's going to put it to the left. And also, I want you to just remember about percentages as well. So, just a quick recap on that. If we put the number 1 in, that's the first whole number. If we make that a percent, Excel reads that as 100%. So, if you want to say that you have 10% of something, you will put 0.1 and it will recognize it as 10%. So that's my quick kind of recap of what we have learned today. In the next video, we are going to start looking at some more advanced stuff again, but this was just a very very basic overview of number formatting, text formatting, and the differences between them. So we'll move on to something a little more advanced again in the next video, and we'll keep advancing through, and we'll move from beginner, as I said, right through to intermediate and then advanced Excel. So I hope you found this useful. If you did, please leave a like or a comment, and even subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos like this. Thank you.